sealed bid, maybe by $100, that gives them the opportunity to increase their bid. And then if the county decides that there's a lot of interest in the property, the county can go to an auction process to get the land leased. And it's technical in nature. If you look at the bill, B through 35, it just directs how the county will hold the auction if they hold it. It just goes into detail, same as the way 16th section land is done. And where this bill came from is basically from people that have agricultural leases that are concerned about putting improvements in the property, and then during the current bid process, maybe losing the bid by $100. And I've talked to Farm Bureau, make sure they were okay with it before we did anything. County Board of Supervisors takes no position one way or the other. They're neutral on the bill. And Farm Bureau was my main concern on this, and they have no objection. I have not heard anything from anybody to oppose it. And I think, it probably will result in higher bids if somebody is really wanting to keep that property. And y'all know we have some properties leased that are probably not near where they should be leased with the county. So this would just basically open it up and make them, well, in my opinion, a fair and transparent bidding process. Because I agree with Senator Johnson that filed the bill that, doing sealed bids on a property that you maintain is not really probably in the best interest of you to maintain and improve that property. So I would entertain any questions that anybody would have on this bill.
Chairman, you're saying this deals kind of specifically with 16th section?
No, this is county owned property that's leased, but it puts in the process that's very similar to how 16th section land is handled. It's basically a similar process when the lease comes up and it's time to bid it out again. This basically just adopts the policies that are there for 16th section land and makes them kind of uniform with how counties lease their property. Am I correct in that, Senator?
Yes, that's where they took the language from, to try to mirror
Yeah.
that as closely as possible.
So, and if we hear any objections along the way, but this is double referred, so it's got to go through AET, and so that's why I wanted to go ahead and get it out. And but I don't want to rush anybody. We're here to vet this thing and see if y'all have any questions or concerns over it. Anybody else have an issue or question? Motion. All in favor? Any opposed? That bill will be reported. Okay, the next bill is not on your agenda, but it's one I filed for quite a number of years. And actually, I was not going to bring this bill out, but I found out last night, just through accident, that the city of Jackson has basically put in a policy to try to clean up the encampments that are there along the walking and riding trail there in Bellhaven and around the bridges. And they're working very hard with an ordinance to try to clean some of that up, a lot of trash and stuff from people that are camped out there. And they're actually going to put up some signs. Pushback, from what I understand, and I haven't talked directly to the city of Jackson. I've talked to people that are working with them in that neighborhood that are trying to help them get pushback, because several years back, the state of Mississippi repealed the traffic vagrant laws. There are some attorneys that want to try to stop the city of Jackson from cleaning. The reason why I'm bringing this bill out is to basically make it clear in statute that municipalities or county board of supervisors have the authority as a governing board to enact, adopt, or enforce any policy or ordinance that prohibits camping on streets, roads, sidewalks, or any other public property. And of course, we're not talking about real campgrounds that are deemed recreational. We're talking about just squatting on public lands. That's the first part of it. Now, so the amendments that I would have, let me explain the second part, and then I'll tell you the amendments. What they want us to be able to enact a policy prohibiting it. So I'll go ahead and offer my amendment, and then we'll talk about section 2. On line 10, I want to delete the word neither and capitalize T for the Board of Supervisors. So it would read, the Board of Supervisors of any county And I want to strike through nor and put or the governing authority of any municipality may instead of shall adopt, enact, or enforce any ordinance, add the word or policy, strike the word authorizing, add the word prohibiting camping on streets, roads, sidewalks, or any other public property. So it just gives them the authority to enact an ordinance or enforce an ordinance or policy prohibiting camping on streets, roads, sidewalks, or any other public property. And that's the amendment that I would offer at this time. Any questions on my amendment? Yes.
When you say that the governing bodies on any other public property, what about like state parks or federal parks?
This only deals with municipal property.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
This said, for the purpose of this section, the public property does not mean any government owned or operated state, local, or federal campground, recreation campground, or other such facility where camping is authorized. Interstate or some public roadway, they still can enforce it. So, are y'all ready to vote on my amendment? All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, that amendment's adopted. Now let's go on to section 2 and 3. This state code, this is already existing state code where it talks about, it's unlawful for any person to intentionally obstruct or interfere with normal and ordinary use of passenger vehicles on any public street or highway provided for the use of vehicular traffic, or persons to intentionally obstruct, interfere with the normal, ordinary, free and passenger pedestrians on any public sidewalk provided for foot travel by pedestrians. And we're just we're just taking and including camping on a public sidewalk. That's all we're incorporating into this existing section. That way, that gives the municipalities and counties authority to enforce the statute, specifically for somebody putting an encampment out on a sidewalk. It's already illegal to obstruct it, but this just brings it clear that they can enforce the fine if they set against camping on a public sidewalk. And it does the same thing in section 3, just adds camping on the sidewalk. So does anybody have any questions on those changes? Yes.
Well, it's not really to the changes, but I don't see nowhere in here if there's a state of emergency declared. I mean, and
The
it
governor-
doesn't have to be a governor. If you have a tornado that
Right.
hits just the
Yeah.
town of Leaksville and the people ain't got nowhere to move, I mean,
Well, anytime the state of emergency is declared by a county or municipality or the state, they can basically waive just about any statute other than the firearms or whatever. They can basically waive enforcement of just about anything during a state of emergency that they feel like is under their purview. Because if you don't have a roof over your head, I don't think we're gonna have to worry about anybody saying that you can't pitch a tent on your own property. Or,
I just don't want them to get
Yeah.
jammed up.
Yeah.
That's the only.
I don't see it,
drive.
I don't that Senator Seymour, but if anybody, before we bring it to the floor, sees an issue, I don't have a bit of problem adding exclusionary language on the floor because we want to make sure we're clear about it. Have no problem with that. And we'll just make sure that our attorneys don't think that we need that. And if they do, we'll add it on the floor.
Madam Chair, but this wouldn't give the opportunity for someone basically to say that you can't camp in your backyard.
No, it says public property.
Okay.
Public property. Public property is defined on the first page. Streets, roads, sidewalks, or any other public property.
Whether it's street parks or something. So just look for that.
Thing that's sanctioned or is permitted by the government for any state park or whatever, that's not going to be affected by this. Anything that the county, if the city or county is, they would have to basically place like that in a public place anyway. If they were going to have camping, you'd have to go get some kind of permit to do that.
The municipality would have control of that.
Exactly. Municipalities or counties would have control of that. This is basically unauthorized camping on public, just basically squatting on public property. And we've got that issue in Gulfport. We've got the issue in a lot of places. And after the state repealed the vagrant tramp laws, they need something in statute to help them back up their local ordinances, just in case they do wind up in court over. And I think this would help them because I think the city of Jackson's already been threatened. So any other questions?
Ma'am.
Motion.
Especially too fast, so that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank y'all so much. Motion?
Riser.
Thank you. Rise and report.
Madam Chair.
Thank y'all.